week's edition of the Gustavus Sports Rewind, I'm your host, James Piper. We'll be starting off by taking a look at men's and women's playoff basketball.
St. Thomas came to town to face our own women's basketball team in the MIAC semifinals. The game was close for 40 minutes with neither team holding a lead bigger than 5 points. The game was tied 13 times while the lead changed hands 10 times. After taking a 56-54 lead, the Tommies sank 2 free throws to extend their lead to 5 points at 61-56 with 49 seconds left on the clock. The Gusties rallied to score 4 straight, and a layup by Molly Mathewitz with 13 seconds left cut the Tommies' lead to 61-60. The Tommies were fouled on the inbound, and 2 free throws later, the Gusties found themselves trailing 63-60. After a timeout, Bree Radke inbounded to Molly Gaske, who passed right back to Radke, who put up a prayer that just missed as the buzzer sounded. The final score was 63-60, and the Gustie women finished with a record of 20-6. The men, however, survived the MIAC semifinals in their game versus Augsburg despite an initial breakdown in the second half. Their halftime lead of 33-25 disappeared after an Augsburg run of 12-4. The Gusties would regain an 8-point lead, but Augsburg battled back to tie on this long shot at 57 points all. With that score, Augsburg had the ball with 10 seconds left, but number 23 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts, Phil Wirchus, jumped on the inbound pass and made an incredible acrobatic layup for the game winner. Their luck would not hold through their Saturday game against Carleton. There were innumerable lead changes in the game, and all roads led to overtime. Just before the end of regulation, Seth Anderson tried to win it for the Gusties on this shot to no avail. Carleton came out strong in the overtime, jumping out to a 7-point lead with less than 2.5 minutes remaining. The Gustavus men couldn't recover, and Carleton ran away with the MIAC playoff title with a final of 78-71. The women's hockey team has been dominant thus far in the playoffs, outscoring all of their opponents 12-1 in their 3 playoff games. The Gusties rolled over St. Olaf, shutting them out for a 5-0 victory, with Allie Schwab getting the game winner and Kirsten Peterson scoring 2 goals. They then hosted St. Kate's for the MIAC championship title, who came into the game with a full head of steam after upsetting St. Thomas. Molly Carroll started the scoring just 2.5 minutes into the game, followed just a couple minutes later by senior Alyssa Saunders. St. Kate's scored on a somewhat freak goal 2 minutes 35 seconds later as the puck arced over goalie Danielle Justice's head. Allie Schwab got an insurance goal in the final few minutes of the second period, and Kelsey Johnson and Alyssa Gulrup rounded out the scoring in the third period as Gustavus won the MIAC championship playoffs 5-1. The victory gave head coach Mike Carroll his 7th consecutive MIAC playoff title, but the real test was yet to come. It was only fitting that UW River Falls, the team that knocked Gustavus out of the playoffs last year, should be their opponent in the last game before the Frozen Four once again this year. Gustavus controlled the play, but the Hawks were pesky to say the least, making the most out of their opportunities. The final minute of each of the first 2 periods were absolutely chaotic. Danielle Justice saw most of her action in the moments before the intermissions, but was able to fend off all charges from the Hawks. The dam broke in the third period when Schwab deflected Megan Waneke's shot from the right dot, giving Gustavus a 1-0 lead. Sophomore Nara Hagano gave Gustavus a little cushion when she went top shelf with a quick wrister from the right circle. The Hawks could never recover, and Hagano's goal made for a 2-0 Gustavus victory, with Schwab getting the game winner and Justice getting this huge shutout win. Gustavus will now host the Frozen Four this coming weekend. This is the first time a school from the West region has hosted the Division III Women's Ice Hockey Championship Finals since the NCAA started national tournament play in 2002. Their first game is Friday at 7 o'clock, and they want to use their home ice advantage as best they can, and of course want to fill every seat in the house. We're hosting the Frozen Four NCAA Championships, Gustavus. It's time to show your Gusty pride.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Gustavus Sports Rewind. Of course, you can find any of our prior episodes you may have missed by going to YouTube and typing in Gustavus Sports Rewind into the search bar. Until next time, I'm James Piper, and go Gusties.